I was white knuckling my way through having one kid. And it was when we had our second, like the wheels were falling off the bus. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need more support. I was working in a demanding career in software sales. My husband's an entrepreneur. He travels a ton for work. We live far from family and that built-in village. And so for us, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I need more support because I am going down a path to burnout that I don't want to be on.
Today, I'm actually really excited to share today's episode with you. It's with a woman named Kelly Hubbell, founder of Sage House. And I'm going to share, she's the founder of Sage House. So Sage is spelled S-A-G-E, House, H-A-U-S. So Kelly built out a company that supports families, not just women, families, couples, individuals, you don't have to be coupled, helping them find house managers. Now, I want to share something before we dive into today's episode, but if you are looking for a house manager, if you go to heatherchauvin.com/Kelly, there's an assessment you can do. It kind of asks you if you are ready, and then you can go to their website. They have all these free resources, paid resources, but it's like concierge service of helping you essentially buy back your time. Okay. I need you to hear me when I say, so I've been in business since my oldest son was 4 years old, and he is now 21. The conversation that I have seen culturally shift for women in the last 15 years has been absolutely mind-blown. This concept of a house manager, to some people, you may have never heard of it before. I've heard of it. I've been in circles where people have house managers, so I'm used to it. But we hear of people that will clean your home. We understand the concept of childcare, but house management is different. Throughout my career, my personal or my professional career, a lot of people focus on delegation. And I think intellectually we understand what it means to delegate. And it's like, these are tasks that you should hand off to somebody else. When you bring delegation into the home, I think it gets a little complex because you are not only the person that is making those decisions. If you have a partner, your partner's making those decisions. Culturally, though, we are the only country, like North America, is the only culture, of course there's cultures within culture, that puts women's individuality on a pedestal. Every time that I travel, culturally, it is usually acceptable to have support in the home. We are the only culture that has brainwashed women to believe not only can you have it all, but you should do it all. And as somebody who is incredibly sensitive and someone I would identify as I don't have endless amounts of energy, but I use my energy strategically. One of the biggest blocks for my clients specifically is when I say, why are you still doing that? They cannot let it go. The guilt, the shame that pops up when you start outsourcing things that your mother did and your grandmother did. It becomes this lineage thing with women around, if I take that off my plate, I am not a good mother, I am not a good woman, I am not a good wife. It very rarely has anything to do with money. Because I think money in itself is incredibly taboo and triggering, which is why this is the compound effect. when you start to look at one area of your life, you feel more empowered in many other areas of your life. So I personally do not have a full-blown house manager at this point. The interesting part about my life is I thought when my kids got older, my plate would become less overwhelming. And the reality of that is not true. My kids may not be as physically demanding with like the nuance of certain things, but my responsibility has gotten bigger. We live in a home where right now we have 2 kids. The other one is flying the nest or flew the nest and is all over the world. And my mother also lives with us. And some people may think that that is supportive and an extra set of hands. Not always the case. Sometimes having your parents live with you can actually be more of a headache or a burden rather than, it's not necessarily house management. So the more responsibility you have, the lighter you should feel. Today's conversation is a permission slip when it comes to the physical energy management of your tasks. My vision for you is that the more alive you feel mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, if financial energy is a priority for you, it does not need to be a priority for everybody. You make more, but you feel more fulfilled. And so when you're taking radical responsibility for how you want to feel in the world, I guarantee you will get to a point, if you are absolutely burnt out, you will say this: it's a priority for me to have a clean home. I feel better when I'm in a clean, organized environment. I do not have the capacity to be this full-time, plus be this full-time. Even if you are a full-time caregiver in your home, nobody ever said that you needed to be a home cleaner, a home organizer, a house manager, plus domestic, quote unquote, child care, rear, whatever. My point here is I want this conversation to expand possibility for you. I would love for you to go to your edge. So in my own personal life, one thing that is a number one priority for me is my health. If you've been following me for a while, you should know this by now. And food is a priority for me. Fueling my body so that I can operate at a high performance, I need to eat. I don't want to cook all the time. I don't have the capacity to, going to the grocery store and meal prepping and doing all that. Could I do it? Absolutely. Do I get energy and joy from it? Yeah, sometimes I do. But I would like that to be extra and like cherry on top. I would love support in, people doing like the foundation of it. I've actually watched in my life when I have a partner in certain areas of my life, and most of the partners that I have in my life are people I've paid, whether it's someone helping with food, someone helping with laundry, somebody helping in my business, even like a personal trainer. You feel less alone. And I truly believe that that is what we are battling up against as women, is we have been brainwashed and conditioned that hyper independence equals good. And the reality is it's okay to ask for help. When I'm working with my clients and I'm like, listen, I'm a partner with you. I'm a brainstorming buddy. Like, let's figure this out together. People just appreciate that they have somebody to bounce things off of. But I also watch the resistance of people like not knowing how to ask for help. So go into this and ask yourself, where can I reclaim more time and more energy? The interesting part about the financial investment, so I don't have a formal house manager. We are taking the person who has come into our home and clean and giving her more tasks. So like slowly transitioning her into a house manager. The other thing I did is I paid somebody before to do the grocery shopping and then the food prep. So they would come home, they'd clean it all, they'd cut it, they'd prep it, put it in the fridge, and then they would cook all my proteins and things like that, because we are usually like macro-based coaching or like eating our food, like protein, carbs, and fats. So I paid somebody to do that, and it cost me $100 a week because it was like 4 hours of her time, and she was a university student. And so we have this big vision in our mind that it needs to cost so much money, but it doesn't. And you just start small. And then when you look at that and you're like, oh, it's $100 a week. Okay, but look at where you're wasting money. And, we value food. We value health. We value experiences. And I have actually put off specific home renovations so that we could reinvest in our health. I put off, we don't do a lot of like binge travel. We invest in quality experiences. I'm not on Amazon all the time. I am not shopping a lot. I usually do capsule wardrobes. So like all of the things where you're leaking money, and we never do takeout. Well, now we live somewhere where we probably couldn't even do takeout because we're not even near a town. We don't eat out a lot. And so it's just areas like this where you can buy back so much money, but also it's not even that. Like you're patching that energy leak, and then you're watching and observing, okay, I'll reallocate this money to this area, and then you're buying back time. And then you watch and observe how you're buying back your mental and emotional energy. But here's the thing. This is different. This is different. And when you do things differently, you are going to be considered weird. I love being weird. Being normal is terrifying to me. I don't want to be normal. I want to thrive. I'm here to constantly focus on how do I want to feel. I want deep quality relationships with my children. I want to show up for them as the parent that they need me to be. And when you are a high performer, you need to realize that leadership is knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you do not have capacity for, and asking yourself, how can I figure this shit out? So I want you to listen to this with a critical ear. I want you to give yourself permission. How can I reclaim more time and more energy and reallocate resources if needed? Start small, and then you're going to gain momentum, and it's going to be magical. So, number one, Kelly Hubbell. She is the founder of Sage House. Go take the assessment. Go to heatherchauvin.com/Kelly. So Heather Chauvin, CHAUV as in Victor, IN.com/Kelly, KELLY. Take the Do I Need a House Manager assessment. Check out the free resources that she has on her page as well. And I think there's like a book a call link or something for an info session if you are interested. It's not a luxury. It's not a luxury. This is not just for moms or women. This is for humans. We can support each other. And we do these things in businesses all the time. And then we tell ourselves, I can't. And I always ask people, like, why do you enjoy suffering? Like, why are you addicted to suffering? Allowing something to be emotionally uncomfortable is one thing, but why are you addicted to suffering? Let this be easy. And if this is edgy for you, take ownership, figure shit out, implement, have an emotionally uncomfortable conversation, and lean in. You deserve to feel good. Actually, you know what? Your children deserve to see you feeling good. All right, let's dive in. Kelly, welcome to Emotionally Uncomfortable.
Thanks for having me. So happy to be here.
I'm so excited. I've been actually wanting to have this specific I know we've connected and collaborated in the past, but I've been wanting to have this specific podcast conversation for a really long time because I've talked about you I send you to people, and I think we just need to pull back the curtains a little bit on what you do, why you do it. And I would also be, so people are like, well, who is she? I want to know these things. But I think you're living in a really interesting time where it's more culturally acceptable to do the work that you're doing. So house management.
Household
Hiring.
managers.
Yes. Yes. I remember. Okay. So I found you on a reel,
Okay.
and it was the reel where you snap your fingers.
Oh, the snap your fingers reel.
The snap your fingers reel. And it was like messy room, you snapped your fingers, clean room, messy kitchen, snap your fingers, clean kitchen. And then it was something about household manager, hiring a house manager. Mm-hmm. And I was looking up the comments because at this time, I mean, I don't know how long ago that was, maybe a year.
Probably a little over a year ago, year and a half ago.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the comments and everyone's just like, this is above my pay grade. Must be nice. Like all these nasty ass comments of out of my pay grade, blah, blah, blah. And I'm all about reclaiming time, reclaiming energy. And I was like, I'm here for this conversation because I just know these people are being triggered right now.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I talk a lot about reclaiming time, reclaiming energy. And actually a lot of my clients do delegate a lot.
Yep.
But the mental and emotional load is still there. Or now that they have the time, they don't know what to do with it. So let's just pull back the layers of like the company you've built, why you've built it, and what you are observing in the culture for women right now.
Sure. Yes. I'm so here for this. So first, I'm the founder and CEO of Sage House. We help busy families, women, households, executives find more support in their household. Typically, that's a house manager, a family assistant, someone who can provide holistic, versatile support, meaning this is not just a nanny. This is not just a cleaner. This is a second set of hands. This is like a clone of you, which is what I set out to look for myself. I can share the story about really like how I accidentally stumbled upon this incredible cultural phenomenon, truly. But to your point, I think my mission is truly not only to help incredible, wonderful families find more support, but also help incredible, wonderful people, house managers, family assistants, find really wonderful roles with families. Really, that's our mission. And my mission is to democratize this and to normalize this. So up until now, a house manager, all of those comments that you were talking about were people who think, oh, that must be nice. That's for rich and famous people. That's for ultra high net worth people to have more support in their household. I'm here to say, actually, no, it's for anyone who prioritizes and values their time, their energy, all of the above.
Relationships,
their health. And so really my mission is to make this more approachable, attainable, and affordable than we all thought. And to your point, we're ready for this conversation. Like the culture and society is ready. Up until really 3 years ago when I started Sage House, it was a hyperbole for females. It was like, you've got to burn yourself out. You've got to do it all. You've got to be the super mom. And I'm here to be like, no, actually you don't. And let's break the cycle and let's get the help and support that we need so desperately and that we deserve, and create amazing jobs while we're doing it, stay in careers that we love, that we've built, have a thriving household at the same time. Like we can do that.
Yeah. I know they would have heard it in the intro. Mm-hmm. But what I love about your Instagram and your resources, and you have like paid resources, you have free resources, but you are changing a cultural internal belief for women, and you're starting this conversation of like, it's okay. Like you don't need to do it all, and it's okay to let go. I work on the inner world with people of like, I would call that physical energy management of outsourcing. Yep. But there was something that you said that I think is really powerful. And I'm observing this too in the last few years, especially with the, like, I don't want to say the economy, but people just critically thinking more around where their dollars are going.
Yeah.
Like we just moved into a home that is physically bigger. We have way more maintenance, like lawn maintenance. We have way more land. Our kids are older. So now we have teens. That cultural conversation of like, it gets easier as the kids get older. I'm here to tell you, we have a 21-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old. Lies. Absolute lies.
Yeah.
And when the kids get older, life appears to be more complex, especially if you're growing something, if you're managing teams, growing a company. I'm like, I don't have time, or I don't want to invest the time in doing a lot of the household management and meal planning and things like that. And so I'm constantly thinking about, how do I reclaim time and energy? So this cultural belief, oh, it's going to get easy when, like we're hanging on for dear life. And just the permission and acceptance that it's okay to feel really, really good. And when you're strong and alive and focused and fulfilled and resourced, oh, wow, what a beautiful culture where we get to co-create together. My family and I also spent 3 months in Mexico in the winter, where this is culturally acceptable.
So common.
And so many people say that when they've come from other places or have immigrated from other countries. They're like,
other cultures have figured this out.
This is so
weird.
We're
the laggards. We're lagging.
Yeah. So what conversations have you had about that culturally, of how like Western culture is like, nope, Miss Independent, and I'm going to die before I outsource my laundry or food?
Yeah, well, it's very, very interesting. All of the things you bring up. One, the cultural piece is so interesting. I was just having a conversation with Tiffany Dufu the other day. You may be familiar with her, author of Drop the Ball. She is now the president of the Tory Burch Foundation. Her husband's sister is the vice president of Ghana, of the country. What I talked about with her was how they've figured it out in Ghana. In Africa, they actually have figured it out such that women can have kids, they can have careers, they are running banks there, they are starting companies, they are involved in politics, like, because they have equitability amongst gender roles. Another thing I loved that you said is just living intentionally, and no matter what season of life you're in. So to your point, my story is I was white knuckling my way through my having one kid, and it was when we had our second. When I was a mom of two, I'm now a mom of three, but it was after we had our second, like the wheels were falling off the bus, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need more support. I was working in a demanding career in software sales. My husband's an entrepreneur. He travels a ton for work. Our closest relatives are 2,000 miles away. Like, we live far from family and that built-in village. And so for us, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I need more support, because I am going down a path to burnout that I don't want to be on. But what I've learned, and what I've been so welcome in receiving and learning now that Sage House has been around for 3 years, we've been helping hundreds of families find support, is that it's not just for one certain season of life. It's not just for those in the quote trenches of like having little kids. Mm-hmm. It's for what you just explained is, once our kids get older, activities pick up. Now we're Uber drivers. We've got to run our kids around to activities. Our kids are teenagers. Like, it changed. It's different. Like, you need a lot more emotional energy in those stages. I've learned that many times dual income families that we work with hit it really hard in their career once they're empty nesters again. And they need support because they're like, we're traveling more. I need help packing and unpacking and picking up prescriptions and running errands and watching my home and my apartment and my pet while we're traveling a lot. I mean, it's not just a one size fits all. It's for so many different seasons of life. I'm seeing sandwich generation.
I was just going to say that too. Yeah.
But coming to us and saying like, hey, I live really far from my aging parents, or my aging parents live down the street from me, and they need more support, but like, they're not accepting it for me, or they're not at a point where they need specific medical care, but gosh, they could really use help with their laundry, just sorting through their medications just to make sure that they take them every day. They could use help with just like making sure their fridge is cleaned out and like they've got fresh groceries and maybe some light meal prep. Like all seasons of life need this kind of support. And so it really truly is more attainable than I think we've thought. I think up until now, right, our society has said, oh, you're a parent and you're feeling really overwhelmed. You just need more childcare. And we're over here saying, hold on, wait, I want to spend time with my kids in the few hours that I get to see them during the work week and like actually do some fun stuff on the weekends. I don't want to be like a slave to my home on the weekends and just catching up on all the things that need to get done. I want to live my life.
Yeah. Even this conversation, like starting the convo of it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing that, you know, the hyper independence, that there's no way that we can quote unquote outsource all of that. One thing that I often sit with is our values. So I talk a lot about value misalignment. Like you say you value connection, you say you value your health and quality of life, and then you just invested $10,000. Like I just got a quote. So this home that we purchased was built in 97. The bones are beautiful, like great, solid. Of course, I go in and I'm like, I want the floors a new color. We need a new kitchen, da, da, da. I get a kitchen quote, $200,000, okay? There's nothing, quote unquote, wrong with the kitchen. Yeah, it's not super functional. And I'm like, I want to get a good night's sleep, but also what do I value? I value quality of life. So sure, I can get the kitchen, but let's be honest. Are you investing in these things and then saying you don't have the money to do something because you're misaligning your value because you think a new kitchen or that next vacation or next trip is going to fill a void inside of you? Or is it going to make you emotionally uncomfortable to hire out all the things that suck the life out of you? And then when your mother or mother-in-law or somebody says must be nice comes over, and are you going to be able to sit with that? Like, and to have extra and to have more. I have really observed this in myself, like since I was diagnosed with cancer. And I want to know that moment for you, because when you were talking about, I was drowning, like I had 2 kids, I'm in this career, I'm drowning. When I started podcasting, the whole reason why I started my business was because I felt like I was yelling from the rooftops, where I'm like, is anyone else struggling to parent? Like, why are you making it look so easy? And then, of course, when you start saying things, you give people permission to be honest, and they kind of tell you behind the scenes of what's happening. How did you know what house management was? Like, did you have a nanny and then you were like, can you do this? Can you do this? Did you hear about it? Like, what happened?
No, yeah. So here's really how it started. It started really small for us, and we didn't have a nanny. Our kids were in preschool. We were both working full time, so we had our kids in a childcare that like you could drop off as early as 8 and pick up as late as 5, or one of those type situations. For me, I realized my moment was really more around this point of I could keep doing it all. I could keep doing it all. And that was what was modeled to me. My mom was a super mom, complete do-it-aller. She had 4 kids, single mom, 4 kids, worked, president of the PTA. I mean, the whole thing. And in her 50s, she started to develop really severe autoimmune conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, et cetera, et cetera. And I watched her decline really, really quickly. And she passed away at 63 when I was 25. And I see so much of myself in my mom. And I could see I was going down that same path. And I think my wake up call was like, I could keep doing this, but what's the cost? There's going to be a cost. The body keeps the score, and there's going to be a cost. There already was. I could feel that it was costing me pieces of my marriage. Like the resentment was building. that relationship is so important to me. I knew that something needed to change there. I knew that I wasn't able to be the mom I wanted to be because I was, instead of feeling really present with my kids, I was constantly racing through this to-do list of like, here's all the things that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And so that's when, for me, I was like, okay, what are some of the things that need to get done, but they don't need to be done by me? I think that's really the first step, is like separating yourself from the things. And for me, it was the first thing that we actually did. Our first sort of like house manager was really focused on like meal prep. Finding health, like eating healthy food and having it readily available to us was really important. And so we invested when we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Portland. My husband hadn't paid himself yet. We put all of our life savings into his business. He hadn't even written a paycheck to himself. We're living on my income, but we knew that that investment, that 4 hours of meal prep a week and paying someone to come in, do 4 hours of meal prep, earned us our Sunday afternoons back. And we got to hang out as a family. And we got to go on hikes, go to the farmer's market, do fun stuff as a family on Sunday afternoons. And for us, like that was worth its weight in gold. And then so to your point, like I never thought to myself, oh, one day I'll be at this point in life where I can have a house manager. I didn't know what to call it. Then when I realized, oh my gosh, there's all of these other things too that I love off my plate. That's when I set out to find, and I called it a house manager because I didn't know what to call it. I just thought, oh gosh, I need help running my household. I need help managing my household. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of me finding out, oh, this is a thing, at least kind of a thing. Not very many people knew about it. A lot of people called this role family assistant because there were elements that I was looking for someone to also help me with child pickups, drop-offs, kids, babysitting here and there. And same with you. Once I found this solution to my mental load problem, I was like, how do I shout this from the rooftops? Why aren't we talking about this? Like, what I uncovered was there are so many people who have this, but aren't talking about it because it makes them uncomfortable, because they don't want to admit they have help. And I was like, I have no shame in this. And what if we talked about it more? Would it remove the shame? Would it add permission that we're all desperately, desperately seeking? And that was really the start of Sage House was, hey, I found a solution for my family. I can't be the only one. It might help someone else. And so that's when I started the business. And that's really the sort of mission, all ties back.
Yeah. It's interesting when I'm talking to people and I'm like, you just need to start small, like with anything, right? So I just recorded a podcast with somebody on investing. And I'm like, or I talk about like a profit rule. You want more time, more energy, more connection, like just start with 20 minutes a day. Like what, generate like energy generating activities. It's like, well, like that's too small. That's too small. And it's like, we have this all or nothing thinking. Like I'm either on the couch or I'm running a marathon. Like there's absolutely no way I could just go for a daily walk and then like a little jaunt and then like work up. The compound effect is a beautiful thing. And there's so many invisible barriers here to just asking for help, paying somebody for help, reallocating resources, right? So you probably need to like look at where your money's going. Like it's going to bring up all of the things. You need to have emotionally uncomfortable conversations. What has been surprising to you? I could give you my perspective being in a relationship for 20 years, raising 3 boys. My mom lives with us as well. Moving now, she's like in the home. We have other properties and I'm just like, okay, it's like more people, more team. You would do the same thing if you were scaling and growing a company.
Yep.
So what has been the surprising like questions that people have asked you? And maybe people who have like scaled and grown teams, what you're observing from women or men?
I mean, I think one of the biggest observations is precisely what you are bringing to the table right now, which is that we have a disconnect between the way that we are running our business and scaling a business and growing and managing and delegating in our career and doing it in our household. For some reason, especially for women, there's like this big disconnect, like it's so different. But really, the same principles that like women are crushing it. Like, the women will join informational calls with me who are like VP, C level. They have been crushing it their whole career. They've been hiring people right and left. They're managing teams of hundreds of people. And they get on a call and they're like worried about an investment. And here's what's actually more interesting about just than their worry in an upfront investment in finding the right fit is managing that person, in their household. One of the things that we're really, really big on at Sage House is we believe that your support can only be as good as the systems behind it. Mm-hmm. So setting up systems for onboarding someone into your home, showing them how you want things done, when things need to get to, like, what are the expectations? Setting up systems. And there is so much worry about managing someone. And I find it so fascinating because, again, these are the same women who are like running SOP libraries in their business, and they're so good at it.
It's because it's emotional. It's emotional. Mm-hmm. Like, even you just saying that, like, you're inviting people into your home, right? That's supposed to be your quote, like, safe space. And then you're like, oh, now I need to manage this person. Like, it's just all the stories we tell ourselves, or, oh, this person in the house won't allow that. So then I got to deal with their BS and that emotionally uncomfortable conversation. I think it's a form of taking your power back, like just starting to outsource the little things and then building back on that. Because I could see that in our house. I mean, we've gone back and forth in the DMs on Instagram where I'm like, okay, well, where do I start? What do I do? And I have someone that will come in and clean. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give you the next task. And I watch her emotional discomfort. I send her your stuff. I'm like, you're going to become a house manager. Like, let's do this. You got this. Like, promote yourself, upgrade yourself. Like you said, you've outgrown this role. You want more responsibility. Mm-hmm. And so I'm watching my leadership of like really taking a stand for the quality of life of somebody else and what they want. And then how they're like, I don't know. What if this is rocky? I'm like, every new relationship is emotionally uncomfortable, whether it's a system or a process or an SOP or somebody like pulling back the curtains, really seeing what it looks like in your house. But man, when you get to like that peace and ease on the other side,
oh my gosh,
you're breaking those generational patterns. You have the capacity to be present with your kids because you're not, snappy and angry and frustrated because you're like, I need to, whatever insert task you're doing. A few hours can make a big difference.
Huge. Yeah. And I think that's another barrier. People think, oh, I have to go all in. I have to, what if I don't need support full time? I would say probably 80% of our clients leverage part-time support. I mean, we've helped families find house managers at like 6 hours a week. And 6 hours a week is a lot. When my husband and I started, we found a house manager and we wanted to start really small because, again, this was a really big investment for us. But we knew, back to your, do I need the brand new fancy car, jeans, whatever? We knew that our happiness, like, yeah, sure, we could go and lease a brand new BMW. But we also knew, like, yeah, our 2016 Subaru Forester is just fine and it gets us from A to B, and we'd rather spend that money on more support in our household. And of course, they've done happiness studies around this too, right? $1 spent toward getting more support. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Wait, what were we just talking about?
I don't fucking know. Is this perimenopausal brain?
Yeah. Hold on.
We need to keep this in. This is why we need house managers. We have way too much on our plate. Technology is getting in the way. We're freezing and we're like, what fucking conversation are we having? This is why.
Oh my God.
You know what's fun? Okay. So you know what is interesting? When you start to think in this energy of reclaiming time and energy, I have noticed, so my kids have said to me, Mom, what do you do around here? This is conversation. Mm-hmm. This is when they try to do the weaponized incompetence, and just like gaslight me as a joke. I'm joking when I say this, but I'm not. And they're like, what do you do around here? And the first time they said that, I was triggered because what they were triggering inside of me was like, I'm not doing it all. I'm not, they're not watching me do these domestic chores, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the second time, or when I say the second time, but when they started asking me again, I was like neutral about it. And this is the beauty of why I talk about being emotionally uncomfortable and being triggered, because I'm like, this is just gender role shifting. This is identity shifting. And that is what we need to do culturally. I'm like, it is 2026, right? How long have women been in the workforce for, like rah, like independence? It's like, okay, we've swung a little too far. We're deteriorating mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And it's like, what do you want? How do you want to feel? And Kelly, what you keep saying over and over again is like, start small. Start small.
Yeah.
Start with a thing that can buy back a few hours and then just go from there.
Yep. Yeah. We started at 8 to 12 hours a week and started getting more and more off our, because once you start to really trust somebody, once they show that they can do it and you build a lot of trust and they take on more responsibility, you can give them more. And once you're in that, I mean, I have yet to find a house manager for a household that says, yeah, now that we found that, like, we decided we don't really need it anymore. Like, that's just not a thing. Like, what the opposite happens is they're like, how can I give this person more? This is incredible. This is life-changing. Like, I need more things off my plate. So it's really like, so start small, and you'll figure out very soon, wow, I can't believe, I mean, even 5 hours a week is like, gosh, 5 hours a week could get you like all of your groceries shopped for and restocked, your laundry done, your dog walked, probably some like home organization projects. And that's like an hour a day of exercising. If you're like, I just can't exercise, I can't find time to exercise, that's literally all your exercise time for the entire week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's
amazing. On average, so if people are asking on average, how much does it cost?
So we work across the US and Canada, and we're finding rates for house managers between $25 and $50 USD an hour. Now, it depends. That's a really big range, right? Because it depends on where you live and how much experience somebody has in the role. So my households in Manhattan, New York, and San Francisco, California are certainly on the upper end of that range. But I will say, typically we're finding house managers rates similar to that of nannies, maybe 5%, 10% more, depending on the market.
Mm-hmm. My first thought goes to what would you call it? Not opportunity cost, like opportunity loss, but how much things are actually costing you because you don't have the right supports in place. So the first thought is takeout, right? Like, how many times are you ordering takeout because you weren't proactive, or you're giving your kids lunch money or things like that? That alone, right? If you're realigning that budget, could probably just pay for itself.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, takeout, grocery delivery is actually quite expensive. And then the thing is, then your groceries are sitting on your porch and you're panicked because you're on calls and you're like, oh no, everything's just sitting on my porch. When am I going to unload it? All this stuff. Dog walking, paying for getting your laundry done. I know a lot of families are like, oh yeah, I'll just outsource all of these little bits and pieces of my life. Cleaning. It's like, once you outsource all of those things and you think about it, oh my gosh, what if we consolidated a lot of these things into one person who could handle and manage all of this?
Yeah. Like all the little service fees, which is exactly what you would do in a business. Mm-hmm. Like, you would look in your business and be like, okay, we've outsourced all of these things. Like, how can we just bring one person in-house so we could just pay them more?
Like, we need an executive assistant. We need to administrate. We need somebody to just do all this stuff.
Yes. I love this. Okay. Where should people go? Both people. So if someone's like, do I want to do this as a career? Where do they go? And if someone else is like, I need Sage House and Kelly and her team in my life, where do they go? What do they do?
Yeah. So go on over to sagehouse.com. SAGEHAUS.
I was going to say, spell it HAUS.com.
And you can find, If you are a household who wants to find a house manager, you can book a free informational call. I host those personally, about 4 of those a week. And I'll tell you all about how we work, our process, how we find the perfect unicorn modern Mary Poppins for your family. And then if you are someone who's interested in becoming a house manager, we have so many amazing resources. We have, I just looked, 220 open positions right now across the US and Canada on our website. So you can go to sagehouse.com and then navigate over to our jobs site to there's a bunch of awesome free resources there too. There's like a resume builder that you can use. We have a free course on how to get your first job as a house manager, and a lot of like great resources for that too. And then we're on Instagram, so that's where Heather and I met at My Sage House. HAUS is where we are. That's where I mostly hang out. I'm on LinkedIn too, every now and again, but that's where we hang out.
Love it. What's the average age of a house manager? So if someone is thinking about, I'm just curious, the average age is
totally across the board, actually. So we're seeing many different sort of archetypes of house managers. I mean, you have to kind of remember this is a little bit new, like mainstream. In fact, The Atlantic just wrote an article featuring Sage House all about the rise of house managers, for busy households. We see archetypes that sometimes come from services type businesses, hospitality services, caregivers, nannies, au pairs. We are also seeing house managers who are perhaps like empty nesters who like they raised their own kids and ran their own household. And now they want to find part-time work supporting a family in their neighborhood, in their town, which is really cool. So honestly, totally across the board. Like I couldn't even average it out really, like completely across the board. But that is why what we do is so specific, is because we are a custom bespoke service to find you exactly what you're looking for. If you are a family with young children and you need support with some childcare, if you are an empty nester, dual executive household and you need help, like we'll find the right specific person for you. This is not just like a agency model where like we have a bunch of house managers in like a closet that we're like deploying out. This is super specific matching to find your perfect unicorn house manager.
I'm laughing because I have a vision, a dream. I'm a visionary. And part of the reason why we moved here, I told my husband I want like a whole bunch of dogs and I want donkeys. And the donkeys are coming within the 5 years. He's like, Heather, you will not be able to travel. I said, absolutely not. I said, we're getting a farmhand and a house manager. We'll be okay. And he's like, oh, you're going to make shit happen because you always do. And I was like,
yeah,
the next level is in there. So if you can find me a house manager, house assistant that also
does donkeys.
Does donkeys.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we'll add that to the job description. I can't wait to find you a donkey farmhand.
Done.
I'm manifesting that with you right here.
Well, I did find a massage therapist who lives on a farm and has donkeys. So I'm leaning into the energy of I'm starting small. So her and I are in conversation. The next is I'm going to go over and she's going to show me how to take care of donkeys. I just want to say I love and appreciate you. I love your vulnerability of just being honest. Like, you need this. It's okay to give yourself permission to want what you want. It's okay to want to live a good quality of life. And if you just need to do it in secret first to save your frickin' soul, and then, make it a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. But I do believe it's a catalyst for a lot of connection, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, in your relationships. I have referred you to so many people. And
I know, I appreciate you.
And also clients that are like, I'm going to go through a divorce, or I'm newly divorced, or I can't do this thing because, and I'm like, listen, you can hire support. And I understand hiring your village and all the things, but and money is a form of exchange of energy. And if you are living in alignment with your area of genius and you have your genius tasks, you can make more money. And then you can actually, let's not even make it selfish about us. You can help other people. You can put money back into other women's pockets and other people and support them. And it took me a really long time to trust people, whether it was in my business or my personal life. And I still watch it every now and again. And I can tell you on a daily basis, even just watching my boys, like take responsibility for things. This isn't about outsourcing everything. It's like you're teaching your children and people around you, it is okay to ask for help. And it's also okay to like clean up your own side of the street. It's not about outsourcing everything. It's saying, let's work together as a team. Let's help each other out.
And it's being intentional about the way you want to live your life.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.